Hi there, Jeep owners. Today in your 2020 Jeep Grand Cherokee, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install Stealth Hitches Hidden Rack Receiver. Invisible, isn't it? That's because it has a removable end. We'll go ahead and remove the cover from it. This keeps any dirt and debris from getting inside of the receiving end for the removable accessories that can be placed in it. We're going to go ahead and pop it in. There's a handle located on one side that you just twist the knob, and on the other side we have a lock mechanism. Our receiver is right here, and it will just slide into place up into our Stealth hitch. So we'll just line up the end here with the hole, give our knob a little twist, and then we can press the lock in place on the opposite side. And now we've got a 2" by 2" receiver for any of our accessories. So here we can see our new hitch that's installed, and the lever that is on here does come in the kind of locked position. So when you go to put it up here, it's not going to go in, but if we twist it all the way back, it'll actually lock into place. You'll see the little tab here move, and then our receiver can just push straight up. You don't want to forget on the opposite side here to press in the lock. That'll ensure that our receiver end cannot come out. Go ahead and put the dust cap on it to keep any dirt and debris from getting inside of our lock and messing it up. You're now ready to load up your favorite accessories, whether it be bike racks or cargo carriers, and you're ready to hit the road. Now you do want to keep in mind that this receiver here is not designed for towing. It is just for your accessories. But there is a tow package available here at etrailer.com that comes with everything you'll need to snap right into your Stealth hitch so you can do some towing as well. Our receiver is a 2" by 2", so it's great for many different types of accessories. You don't have any limitations like you might have with a 1 1/4", and it uses a 5/8" hitch pin and clip. Now, one doesn't come included with this hitch, but we've got plenty available here at etrailer.com. It offers a 600-pound tongue weight, which is the force going down on top of our receiver, and that's going to be more than enough for our cargo carriers fully loaded up to the max, as well as a 4-bike platform rack loaded up with 4 bikes. Now I've got some measurements for you to help you when deciding on accessories. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of our rear bumper here, it looks like we're measuring about 3 inches. And this is important when determining if any of your folding accessories can be placed in the upright storage position without contacting the bumper. And from the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube, looks like we're at about 16 inches. And that's important when determining if you need a raised shank on any of your accessories. This one sits up pretty high here on our Jeep. I still recommend a raised shank just because you get that extra clearance, but it's not necessary, so you don't have to specifically pick those out. Now that we've gone over some of the features, let's go ahead and go over the installation together. One of the things that I do recommend is that you pick up a 21mm crow's foot, because while it is deceptively easy looking, there are a couple of bolts that are very difficult to tighten and torque down. That crow's foot is definitely going to come in handy getting this installed. We'll begin our installation underneath the vehicle by removing some factory hardware to reveal some weld nuts that we're going to be raising our hitch up to install into. We're here on the driver's side of the frame, and we need to remove the 2 inside bolts that we see here. We're going to use a 21mm socket to remove those. We'll then remove the bolts in the same location on the other side of the vehicle. Now that we got the bolts out of the way, we have some sealant that runs here, and this may or may not interfere with you raising your hitch up, but looking at how thick it is right here, this is likely going to interfere with us. So we're just going to take a razor knife, a scraper, or something like that, and we're just going to trim this off right up in here, so that way our hitch can easily be raised up and we're not fighting it. And we're just kind of cleaning it up a little bit, and then we're going to check the other side of the vehicle and then do the same thing over there. We can now take our hardware that we had removed. We're going to place a lock washer on it, followed by a flat washer. We're going to do the same thing for the 3 remaining bolts. We can now take our hitch and lift it into position. The angled end here at the center should be at the top. We want the flat part at the bottom. You may or may not want an extra set of hands. It's not very heavy, but it can be a bit awkward to hold it up there. And we're just going to hold it up. put a bolt in on one side, that'll hold that side up. Then we can come over to the other side here, slap one in over here, and now our hitch will hold itself up, making it much easier to put the last two bolts in. Now that we've got all of our hardware started, we can tighten the bolts down. I recommend tightening down these ones first, because if you tighten the ones here that are easy to get to, it could potentially put these in a bind and make them hard to tighten down, because they're already extremely difficult to tighten down due to the gussets being in the way. You are likely going to have to go purchase a 21mm crow's foot in order to tighten this down, because you're not going to be able to get a socket on it. And if you try to get a wrench on it, it's going to hit here. You're really not going to have much throw to be able to tighten it. So this is about your only option to do so. And just take your time threading it down. It is going to be a little time consuming because you can't turn it that far. And just keep on working at it. Now if you finally got those tightened down, you can go back and snug these ones towards the front of the vehicle up just using your socket. We can then go back and torque our hardware to the specifications found in our instructions. For your rearmost bolt, the one that's difficult to get to, you're going to need to use your crow's foot again to get up in there to torque it down. Now if you're having trouble using a crow's foot on there, I've got a trick for you that's not really the recommended way, because we aren't going to be using the correct size socket, but it is a way that you could potentially use a socket. I do say you're going to be doing this at your own risk, but if you take a larger socket like a 7/8, that's going to give you some slop and allow you to get a socket kind of on there. We're also using a 3/8 drive with an extension, and we are on there kind of at a crooked angle. Again, this is not recommended. You may strip the bolt out. We can now take our center section, lift it up between our hitch, and then take the long bolts that come included with it. We can then raise our center section up through the hitch and then take our bolts, and we're going to run them through on the handle side. And this is going to help ensure that you have clearance to get up in there to reach the handle. If you go through it the other way, the bolts are going to stick out further with nuts on them, and you may or may not scrape your knuckles when you're trying to use this. So I recommend you go this direction. And you do want to make sure your handle's on the passenger side and your lock mechanism on the driver's side. On the other side, we're going to use the nylon locking nuts that come included with it to secure it. And then we can go back and tighten these down using a 19mm socket and wrench. And then we can go back and torque these bolts to the specifications found in our instructions. Now at this point, your hitch is fully installed. You can either leave it this way if you're not planning on towing, or if you are planning on towing, we can go ahead and install our receiver. You'll find your keys located below the rubber seal that keeps all the dirt and debris out when you're not using it. Went ahead and pulled off the cap so you can see the lock there. We can then raise our section into position and then lock it into place. Now once you've removed the section, we can take the dust cover off of our lock. We're going to lift our receiver end up, twist our handle, push it all the way up, release the handle, verify that it's in position, and then you want to make sure that you push the lock in so that way it can't come out. And that completes our installation of Stealth Hitch's hidden rack receiver on our 2020 Jeep Grand Cherokee.